You know that feeling, right? You've got this amazing AI project going. You're absolutely committed to doing it responsibly. Maybe you've even got those ethics posters on the wall.
Yeah, the intentions are there.
Exactly. But then comes the crunch. How do you actually move past just intending well? How do you, show your homework on responsible AI? Prove it in a way that actually holds up. Well, this deep dive today, it's your shortcut. We're aiming to give you the rundown on the two big frameworks that help you do just that. We're digging into what often gets framed as like a choice. ISO 42001 versus the NIST AI RMF for your AI governance.
Right.
But here's the thing we want to explore, the twist, maybe. It's not really about picking one or the other.
No, not fundamentally.
It's more about how you strategically weave them together, how you use them to speed up innovation while staying inside those really important guardrails.
That's spot on. Yeah. Our goal today, let's cut through some of the marketing noise, compare these two in plain English. We'll show where each one really excels. And then, I think most importantly, lay out a practical way you can use both without doubling the work.
Right. Nobody wants double work.
Nobody.
Yeah.
The promise here is making your next model launch, well, safer, faster, and genuinely auditable.
Okay, so the super quick version, the 30-second takeaway.
Yeah.
Think of ISO 42001 as like the certifiable rulebook for your whole AI management system and your aims.
The formal system.
And NIST AI RMF, that's more your day-to-day playbook, how your teams actually understand and handle AI risk, on the ground.
Yeah, in the trenches.
Together, we kind of see them as this really pragmatic stack.
A powerful combination, definitely.
Okay, let's start peeling back NIST AI RMF then. You called it a booth kit, which I think really captures it. For the engineers, the PMs, the risk folks, what does that actually mean day to day? How does it give them that shared language?
It really is like a field kit. Yeah. So the NIST AI risk management framework, it's built around these 4 core functions, and they're meant to run across the whole AI lifecycle.
Okay, 4 functions.
First up is govern. This is all about setting up the culture, the accountability for AI risk. Think policies, who decides what, training, and really key, building that inventory of all your AI systems.
Got it. Culture and accountability.
Then you've got map. This helps teams frame the context before they even, write code or grab data.
Before coding.
Okay. Documenting the intended use, who are the stakeholders, where's the data coming from, system boundaries, thinking about foreseeable impacts, both good and bad.
Right, thinking ahead.
Next is measure. This is where you evaluate the risks you've identified using both qualitative and quantitative methods, looking at things like robustness, safety, explainability, privacy, fairness, those key characteristics.
The hierarchies, basically.
Sort of, yeah. And finally, there's manage. This deals with actually treating the risks you found, planning your response, executing it, and crucially, monitoring how things behave after deployment.
Post-deployment, too.
Absolutely. That includes things like human-in-the-loop procedures, handling incidents properly when they happen.
That structure sounds really practical. You mentioned it's day one impact.
Yeah.
What does that look like for, say, a startup or just one product team getting started? How immediate is it?
It's very immediate because it's flexible. You don't need some giant company-wide rollout. A team can grab one product, right? One AI use case.
Just one.
Just one. And straight away run a map workshop. Maybe just an afternoon. Identify stakeholders, data, immediate risks, then define maybe just 2 or 3 key measure metrics they care about for that specific use case.
Okay.
That first NIST profile they create, it becomes this living snapshot. Here's where we are, here's our plan. It gives them that shared language, like you said, to talk about risk without getting lost in like abstract theory.
So they're not waiting for some top-down thing. They can just start?
Exactly. Product teams can use it right now to make better, more informed decisions. It's probably the friendliest on-ramp.
Okay, NIST sounds great for building those ground-level habits. The muscle memory, maybe. But you also mentioned ISO 42001, calling it the certifiable rulebook. How does that fit in? What exactly is ISO 42001, and how is it different from a practical guide like NIST?
Yeah, good transition. So ISO IEC AC 40001, it's a formal management system standard. Think like ISO 27001 for security or 9001 for quality. Its job is to help organizations set up, implement, maintain, and importantly, continually improve an AI management system, the AIMS.
Okay, a management system.
Right. It uses that more formal language, top management commitment, policies, objectives, documented processes, internal audits, corrective actions, management review, that kind of thing.
Classic ISO language.
Exactly. It's designed to plug into that plan-do check-act cycle, that PDCA loop a lot of organizations use for quality.
ECCA,
And
right?
integrate with your other processes, survive people changing roles. But the absolute key difference from NIST, it can be independently certified by an external auditor.
Right, the certification piece. That's huge. But I hear people sometimes think it's just like a checklist for a specific model. Can you clear that up? What isn't it? And what is it really providing?
That's a really important distinction. It is absolutely not a checklist for one AI model.
Okay.
ISO 42001 doesn't dictate how you build the model or, what specific F1 score it needs. Instead, it's about proving you have an organizational system for managing AI, from strategy right down to operations.
A system, not just a model check.
Precisely. It demonstrates you have durable controls around the way you build and run AI. Things like documented processes, clear responsibilities, internal checks and balances, and that mechanism for continuous improvement.
And who cares about that proof?
Well, procurement teams care a lot. Regulators care. Big customers, especially in regulated industries like finance or health, they need that assurance. They want to see repeatable, auditable processes, not just a one-off assessment somebody did once.
So it's about organizational maturity, really.
In a nutshell, yes. Organizational maturity and provable governance. So if we compare them directly, the big message is really alignment, not rivalry.
Alignment, not rivalry. I like that.
Yeah. Think of NIST as the tool that tunes your judgment internally, helps your teams think through and manage AI risks day to day.
Okay, tunes judgment.
While ISO, that's the framework that proves you have judgment on a schedule an auditor can actually test. It makes it formal and verifiable.
Right. One tunes, one proves. How do they stack up on other aspects, like who uses the most or their scope?
Good question. Let's break that down. Purpose. NIST is about improving thinking and practice within teams, building capability. ISO is about establishing that formal, certifiable aims across the organization.
Okay, internal practice versus external proof.
Exactly. Scope. NIST focuses on risk controls for specific projects throughout the AI lifecycle. ISO scope is broader organizational policies, roles, the whole PDCA cycle, internal audits, even supplier management, across the whole company potentially.
Wider scope for ISO.
Definitely. Culture impact. NIST often drives strong bottom-up adoption, gives builders that common language. ISO tends to drive more top-down accountability, ensures repeatability, and gives that external assurance.
Bottom-up versus top-down focus.
Sort of, yeah, though they reinforce each other. And finally, who cares most? Generally, NIST is crucial for the builders and risk owners, the people hands-on with the AI. ISO provides the assurance needed by executives, customers, auditors, regulators.
Makes sense. The builders need the playbook, the execs need the proof.
You got it. So that winning pattern emerges pretty clearly, doesn't it?
Seems like it. Use NIST first.
Yeah. Use NIST to build that muscle memory, that common understanding across your teams. Get them comfortable identifying and managing AI risk.
Build the habit.
Then codify those habits, those muscles, into an ISO 42001 compliant aims. That gives you the external credibility, the repeatability.
Yeah.
That sequence, it genuinely trims risk. And like we said, it makes your future audits, well, boring in the best possible way.
Boring audits are good audits. But okay, implementing both. I can hear listeners thinking, oh, great, double the paperwork. You talked about a product migration roadmap, not a paperwork exercise. What's the secret sauce there? How do you avoid redoing work?
Right. Avoid the paperwork trap. The secret is pretty simple conceptually.
Right.
Map once and write twice.
Map once, write twice. How?
Okay, here are 6 steps, pretty actionable. 1, stand up NIST governance in one lane. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick one product family, one key AI system, define who owns what, start a simple AI inventory, get a decision log going, just socialize those 4 NIST functions, govern, map, measure, manage for that one area.
Start small, focus.
Exactly. 2, build a real NIST profile. For that chosen lane, actually document your current state risk profile and your target state. What risks are you managing now? What metrics are you using, even informally? Then add what you plan to measure and manage. This becomes your living backlog for AI risk work.
A living document, not static.
Crucial. 3, crosswalk to ISO controls. Now, do a quick gap analysis. Map the NIST work you're already doing, especially from map and measure to the clauses in ISO 42001. You'll likely be surprised how much ground you've covered.
Find the overlaps.
And identify the gaps. Usually they're the classic management system things. A formally documented policy, clearly defined roles, maybe a documented internal audit schedule.
The typical ISO stuff.
Yep. 4. Write light, reuse heavy. When you draft your formal aims, documents your policy, your procedures don't rewrite everything. Promote your NIST profiles, your risk registers, your decision logs. Keep the pros and the aim stock short, and point to the evidence living in your code repos, your wikis, whatever the real work happens.
Point, don't duplicate.
Every piece of evidence should serve both purposes. 5. Run an internal audit drill. Get a friendly team, maybe the one from your pilot lane, and audit one AI use case end-to-end against your draft aims. Document findings, track corrective actions. You're basically rehearsing for the real certification audit without the big consultant bill.
Practice makes perfect.
And saves money. Finally, 6. Freeze scope and certify. Define the exact scope for your initial AIM certification. Pick your certification body. Schedule the audit stage 1, stage 2. Aim to certify your strongest product family first. Then you can expand the scope year by year.
Start strong, then grow.
That's how you turn ISO versus NIST into ISO plus NIST in practice. It's a pragmatic path. And connecting this to the bigger regulatory landscape, especially the EU AI Act, these frameworks fit together really nicely with what's required there.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, the Act basically rests on 2 main pillars, right? You need a solid risk management system, and you need a comprehensive quality management system.
Okay, risk and quality. So is NIST the risk part? How does it align there?
Precisely. NIST provides those day-to-day mechanics for risk identification, evaluation, mitigation. It lines up almost perfectly with the Article 9 requirements in the Act. It's the engine driving your ongoing risk practices.
Got it. NIST is the risk engine.
While ISO 42001, that gives you the organizational scaffolding for the quality management side, the auditable practices the Act also demands.
The scaffolding. I like that.
And here's a key point. Once a standard like ISO 42001 becomes harmonized, officially recognized by the EU as meeting specific legal requirements, getting certified can grant you presumption of conformity.
Presumption of conformity. What does that mean practically?
It means it's presumed you meet those specific legal requirements covered by the standard. So for things like having a quality management system or a risk management system, your ISO certificate could significantly reduce the friction and shorten the time needed for compliance assessments by regulators. It makes oversight much smoother.
So it could really streamline things with regulators down the line, less hassle.
Potentially, yes. That's the goal of harmonization.
Makes total sense. Okay, let's get practical again. Auditors. You mentioned making audits boring. What do they actually want to see? You said a small set of consistent artifacts, not a library. What's in that minimal kit?
Yeah, keep it lean but meaningful. Signal over noise. Here's what I see as the minimal kit that serves both NIST and ISO really well. First, an AI system inventory. Got to know what you have, right? Owner, purpose, risk tier, key data sources, model lineage.
The basics. What else?
A NIST profile per system, showing the current versus target state with clear dated action items for closing the gaps. Shows you have a plan.
Okay, inventory profile.
Then, TVV evidence. That's testing, evaluation, validation, and verification. So your test results, the metrics you use, documented limitations, all tied to the decision to deploy.
Proof it works as intended and you know its limits.
Exactly. Next, an incident and override log. What happens when the model fails or a human steps in? Log it. What was the outcome? Learn from it.
Learning from mistakes. Critical.
Hugely. Then management review notes, formal records. What did leadership decide about the AI program's progress, the risks, the resources? Shows top-level engagement.
Accountability.
And finally, don't forget supplier records. If you're using third-party models, data, tools, you need records showing you've checked their security, their licensing, their quality processes.
Right, the whole supply chain.
Absolutely. Can't ignore that.
So those artifacts, they tell the story without drowning teams, and they answer that key question. What's changed since last quarter?
That's exactly the idea. Consistent, concise evidence of your process working.
Okay, for everyone listening who's thinking, right, I want to do this, let's give them that 90-day plan you mentioned, something really concrete they can take away and use.
Let's do it. A 90-day roadmap. Days 1 to 10. Decide and signal. First, pick your pilot scope. 1 or 2 high-impact systems. Keep it manageable. Assign an AI governance. Lead someone with actual authority to get things done.
Needs teeth.
Needs teeth. And crucially, publish a simple 1-page policy. State your intent. We're using NIST now to build practice, aiming for ISO later for proof. Signal the direction.
Set expectations.
Okay.
Days 11 to 30.
Days 11 to 30. Map and inventory. Get that AI system inventory live, even if it's simple to start. Run those NIST map workshops for your pilot use cases. Capture intended use, data, stakeholders, potential impacts, key guardrails. Get it documented.
Get the context down. Next.
Days 31 to 60. Measure and manage. Define your initial measurement suite for those pilot cases. Focus on the big ones: validity, robustness, privacy, fairness. Set up a clear channel for reporting incidents. Agree on triggers for rolling back models or bringing humans into the loop. And draft that first NIST profile, current state, target state.
Start measuring. Start managing. What about the last month?
Days 61 to 90. Systematize. Now, write the core aims policy, the scope document, maybe a couple of key procedures, making sure they wrap around the good work you've already done with NIST. Schedule your first management review, perform an internal audit drill in your pilot scope, close out any findings.
Tie it together.
Exactly. You've just built a skeleton for ISO 42001 certification while fully honoring the spirit of the NIST AI risk management framework. You're well on your way. Now, as you go down this path, there are a few common traps to watch out for.
Ah, the pitfalls. Good. What should people avoid?
First big one, checklist thinking, especially with ISO. Don't just treat it as a document collection exercise. Use the NIST work, the real risk management activities to keep it grounded.
Don't just tick boxes.
Please don't. Second, over-indexing on model metrics. Yeah, your accuracy might be 99%, but does it work safely in the real world?
Correct.
Context is king. Remember, map before you measure.
Context first.
NIST forces that context. ISO forces the accountability for managing within that context. Third, forgetting suppliers. I mentioned it before, but it's huge. Modern AI is built on third-party components. You have to build supplier oversight into your aims from day one, or you risk failing certification later.
Don't ignore the ecosystem.
Never. And finally, no post-deployment plan. The riskiest stuff often happens after launch. You absolutely need to monitor performance, log those overrides, learn from incidents, and feed that learning back into your NIST profile, back into your ISO corrective actions. That feedback loop, that's the living heart of this whole combined approach.
That feedback loop sounds critical. Okay, so you've navigated the pitfalls, you're building the system. How do you talk about this upstairs? To executives, to the board. They want results, systems, not just framework theory.
Great question. You frame it as risk-adjusted velocity.
Risk-adjusted velocity, tell me more.
Look, NIST helps you get to safer launches faster. It builds that internal capability, that muscle memory, reduces rework.
Safer, faster launches, they'll like that.
They will. And then ISO, that locks the wins into a durable operating system. It reduces the long-term tail risk for the company. It sharpens product decisions. And frankly, it makes navigating things like the EU AI Act feel much less chaotic.
So NIST for speed and safety now, ISO for durability and defensibility later.
That's a great way to put it. And quarterly, give the board just 3 numbers. Keep it simple.
3 numbers. Okay, what are they?
1, % of your AI systems with an up-to-date NIST profile. Shows coverage and active management. 2, mean time to respond to AI incidents. Shows responsiveness. 3, number of closed corrective actions in your aims. Shows continuous improvement.
Profile coverage, incident response time, closed actions. Simple, powerful.
Exactly. And if you tie incentives, even small ones, to those metrics, suddenly ISO versus NIST isn't some academic debate. It's a core part of your execution strategy.
I can definitely see how that shifts the conversation, and it reinforces what we've been saying. There's so much overlap. It really is same work, 2 outputs. Maybe quickly recap those key overlaps.
Absolutely. Inventory and classification. NIST Govern Map pushes you to list your systems and understand them. ISO formally requires that list within your documented aim scope. Same list, 2 uses. TVV and metrics. NIST measure is where you figure out how to test and measure. ISO wants those methods documented, repeatable, and improved over time as part of your quality system. Same testing, feeding both.
Right.
Incidents and corrective action. NIST Manage deals with responding to risks and incidents. ISO provides the formal structure for logging corrective actions based on those incidents and having management review them. Same incidents, driving both immediate response and systemic improvement. So yeah, every time someone on your team asks, do we have to do this for NIST and ISO, remind them, ISO 42001 versus NIST AI RMF is not double work. It's one loop with 2 views. Each view serves a vital complementary purpose.
1 loop, 2 views. That's a great mantra. Okay, just briefly on tooling. Do you need fancy new AI governance platforms, or can you make do with existing tools?
You can absolutely start with your existing stack. Your code repo for documents, your Jira or backlog for tracking NIST profile actions, dashboards for metrics, ticketing for incidents. That works.
Start lean?
Start lean. Now, specialized tools can help, especially as you scale. Things that help maintain the inventory, automate monitoring, capture evidence more easily. They can reduce that context switching, that friction between the NIST work and the ISO evidence.
So use tools if they clearly save effort and connect the dots.
That's the rule of thumb. If it reduces context loss, it's probably worth considering. But, beyond tools, there's the human piece, which is often the hardest, but maybe the most important.
The human piece, meaning?
Culture, training, and clear decision rights. Policy without training, that's just theater. Training without clear decision rights, that just leads to burnout because people don't know if they can actually act on what they learned.
Policy without training is theater. Training without rights is burnout. Wow.
Yeah. So you need to weave both into your aims. Actually train your teams on the NIST functions using real examples from your products. And publish a simple, clear decision matrix. Who gets to make the go-no-go call for an AI deployment? What evidence do they need to see? Update that matrix based on incident reviews. Getting this right, that's the difference between just talking about frameworks and actually embedding responsible AI into how you operate.
That makes so much sense, embedding it through people and process. Okay, to wrap things up, let's distill it even further. Can you give us that simple litmus test? 3 questions everyone should ask about every AI system they build or deploy.
3 core questions. Let's try these. 1. Who could potentially be harmed by this system, and how would we know early if that starts happening?
Who could be harmed? How would we know?
Okay.
2.
What specific evidence would convince a genuinely skeptical engineer, maybe your most cynical, rigorous one, that this system is valid, reliable, secure, explainable, private, and fair enough for its intended context?
Evidence for a skeptic. Love it. And 3rd.
Third, if something does go wrong post-deployment, who has the power to stop it? How fast can they act? And what's the immediate fallback plan?
Who stops it? How fast? What's next?
Yeah. If you can answer those 3 questions thoroughly in your NIST profile, and then make sure your ISO aims reflects the systems needed to keep answering them, well, that's the real heartbeat of ISO plus NIST right there on one page.
Harm, evidence, and response.
Powerful. Okay, so bringing this entire deep dive together, we know the punchline now, don't we?
I think we do.
The smartest programs, the ones really getting this right, they don't see ISO 42001 versus NIST AI RMF as some kind of battle. They see it as a sequence, a strategic path.
Exactly. Start with the NIST AI risk management framework. Use it to build the habits, the language, the practical skills inside your teams.
Build the foundation.
Then turn those habits into a formal AI management system. Pursue that ISO 42001 certification for the external credibility, the scalability, the proof.
Formalize and prove. And always, always use the same evidence twice wherever you can.
Yeah.
Cut out the unnecessary ceremony, focus on the real signal, and, make your audits boring. That's the goal.
So for you listening, here's that call to action, distilled. Pick one product, just one to start. In the next 10 days, commit to building its initial NIST profile. Get map done.
10 days. Doable.
In the next 60 days, start wrapping those practices, those artifacts, into the skeleton of an aims. Draft the policy, scope it.
60 days for the skeleton.
And in the next 90 days, run that internal audit drill we talked about, close the findings, and maybe, just maybe, lock in a date with a certifier. Make it real.
90 days to make it real. Love it.
Yeah.
And maybe a final thought, a kind of North Star for this whole journey. Whenever you're talking about AI governance, think. Use NIST to think critically. Use ISO to prove you're thinking systematically. Then go build something amazing that actually deserves the trust you're asking people to place in it.